Arlen Vance had never intended to stay overnight on Nera 9. The planet was mostly a pit stop for cargo pilots, a blue-green orb whose forests shimmered with bioluminescent moss and whose nights dropped to sub-zero temperatures without warning. He'd only planned to refuel his shuttle and restock the hydroponic filters, maybe spend an hour or two staring at the twin moons from the observation ridge. Nera 9 was beautiful in a way that made you feel like you were standing in the quiet chapel of the universe. But his shuttle's power relay had overheated again, and the repair drone's approximate completion time, 6 hours, left him with little more to do than wonder. By twilight, the drop in temperature began. Frost gathered on the moss. The glow dimmed. A soft wind swept through the crystalline trees and made them chime like distant bells. Arlen pulled his thick flight jacket tighter. He was halfway back to the refueling depot when he spotted movement near the ridge. A small figure, huddled, trembling. First he thought it was a child. Then he saw the pale teal skin, the tiny silver markings along the temples, the elongated ears that twitched at the cold. An alien girl. Young, maybe 14 or 15 by human standards. And she was freezing. She looked up at him with wide, frightened violet eyes. Her clothes were thin, torn, and not suited to Nera 9's night. When she tried to stand, her legs buckled. "Hey, easy." Arlen rushed to her and steadied her before she could collapse. "You're freezing out here." She said something in a soft, musical language he didn't recognize. The translator embedded in his wrist console flickered, beeped, and failed to identify it. But he understood the tremor in her voice. Fear. Cold. Arlen didn't think twice. He slid his jacket off and wrapped it around her. She flinched at first, startled, then relaxed into the warmth with a faint, grateful sigh. "It's okay," he murmured. "You'll warm up." She touched the jacket's collar as if it were something precious, then pressed her hand lightly to his chest, an alien gesture he could only interpret as thanks. "Let's get you somewhere safe," he said gently. He guided her to the depot's heated main hall. The workers were used to refugees showing up randomly from the outer settlements, so no one questioned him. They found her a blanket, gave her warm broth, and set up a resting cot. She was asleep within minutes, curled like a small forest creature seeking refuge. Arlen stayed until the repair drone notified him that his shuttle was ready. "I hope you're okay," he whispered to the sleeping girl. He didn't know who she was or where she'd come from, but she had survived the deadly cold because of one simple act. An act that didn't feel like anything special to him. He didn't expect to see her again. He certainly didn't expect what happened the next morning. The Royal Escort. Arlen woke to the sound of thunder outside his shuttle. Not atmospheric thunder, engines. Dozens of them. He shot up, nearly hitting his head on the cabin ceiling. Outside, the sky over Nera 9 shimmered with silver. A fleet of elegant crescent-shaped ships descended in perfect formation. They weren't military, not exactly. Their hulls bore a royal insignia, a blooming star surrounded by 12 runic petals. Arlen's heartbeat stuttered. "Those are Aralaean royal vessels," he whispered. He'd only seen them in Holos. Their landing displaced the frost and made the glowing moss flare bright blue. As the ships powered down, tall figures in gleaming silver armor stepped out, forming 2 lines like a ceremonial procession. At the end of the aisle, a grand carriage ship lowered its ramp, and the girl he had rescued walked out, wearing a flowing indigo mantle and a crown of crystalline petals that glowed with inner light. Arlen stumbled out of his shuttle in disbelief. Workers from the depot watched from afar, whispering like spectators at a myth come to life. The girl approached with a calm, regal grace, though her violet eyes softened when she saw him. She lifted her hand, palm up. "I am Princess Ares of the Aralaean Star Court," the translator embedded in her crown announced in a clear, musical tone. "Last night, I was separated from my escort during an attack by raiders. Alone, unshielded, and exposed to the cold, I would not have survived." Arlen swallowed hard. "Princess." He had given his jacket to a freezing alien princess. Ares stepped closer. "You gave me warmth when I had nothing. Your act of kindness is recorded in the Star Court's living archives. Such compassion cannot go unacknowledged." The royal guards struck their staffs against the ground in unison. The sound reverberated like a cosmic drum. Arlen cleared his throat. I wasn't trying to make history. I just didn't want you to freeze." Ares smiled, a small, sincere expression that lit her delicate features. "Which is why it matters." She gestured, and one of the guards presented a crystalline box that shimmered with prismatic light. "This is a star bloom core," Ares explained. "A rare living crystal attuned to the quantum signatures of our royal lineage. It is both a gift and a promise. Should you ever have need of the Aralaean court, present this core, and the Star Court will answer." Arlen stared at the crystal, stunned. It pulsed softly, resonating with a gentle hum that felt like a heartbeat. "I can't accept something this priceless," he said quietly. But Ares shook her head. "You already have." The core floated from the guard's hands and settled gently into Arlen's palms, warm and perfectly fitted to his grip, as though it had chosen him. Ares stepped closer, lowering her voice so only he could hear. "I spent the night thinking about the moment you wrapped your jacket around me. I had never felt such warmth before. Not physical warmth, but the warmth of a stranger's selflessness. In the royal court, kindness is often transactional. But yours was freely given." Her gaze softened. "I will not forget it." Arlen felt his cheeks heat. "I'm just glad you're okay." Ares took his hand for a brief moment, an unmistakably intimate gesture in Aralaean culture, though he didn't know that yet. Then she turned to her escort and gave the command to depart. The guards bowed to Arlen before boarding their ships. Engines ignited in shimmering waves of silver and blue. One by one, the vessels rose into the sky, leaving trails of stardust-like energy. Ares was the last to board. She paused at the ramp, looking back at him. "Until we meet again, Arlen Vance." And then she was gone. The aftermath. When the sky finally cleared, Arlen stood alone with the star bloom core glowing in his hands. The depot workers swarmed him immediately. "Arlen, what did you do? Did you save a royal heir? Are you secretly some kind of hero?" Arlen laughed nervously. "I just gave her my jacket." But even he understood that something profound had shifted. Acts of kindness, he knew, had ripple effects. But he never imagined they could ripple across star systems. That night, as he prepared to leave Nera 9, the star bloom core hovered beside him like a loyal little star. He set it gently into a protective cradle in his cockpit. "Until we meet again," he murmured. Because deep down he knew he would. The galaxy had just become a much bigger place, and he had a feeling his story with Princess Ares was only beginning.